Hi everyone, welcome to StatCrunch. This is Helen and I'm going to show you how to calculate critical Z values in StatCrunch's normal distribution function. We know that performing hypothesis tests involves analyzing data based on a normal distribution. And as you know, we determine critical Z values when performing hypothesis tests for the proportion. Now we're going to take a look at problem 11 in chapter 10, and this particular problem is similar to homework question 6, and we're going to find the critical Z values for 3 different examples. So let's take a look at problem 11A, and I'll just slide that over just a little so you can see that. Our null hypothesis, our proportion is 0.5. Our alternative hypothesis, our proportion does not equal 0.5. And our alpha, or our significance level, is 0.05. Now the first thing we're going to look at is our alternative hypothesis. When the alternative hypothesis says that your proportion does not equal a certain proportion, in this case 0.5, then we know that we're conducting a two-tailed test. Does not equals two-tailed test. So we have a two-tailed test. We're going to look at both sides of the normal distribution curve. We also look at our alpha. And our alpha, or significance level, is 0.05. We have a two-tail test. So we divide 0.05 by 2 to get 0.025. So let's see how this works. Stat, calculators, normal. Here we have our normal distribution curve. Great image of it. First row we have 0 mean, 1 standard deviation. We leave that alone. That's our normal distribution. We come down here and we see less than, equal than or less than, and we can click on that and select greater than. We're going to leave it at less than. We're going to look at the less than side, then we're going to look and calculate the critical Z value for the greater than side. We slide over to the far right hand and we input 0.025. Click compute. And here we are on the left side of the normal distribution curve. It's the negative side. Right here we're looking at the tail and we are told that our critical Z value is negative 1.96 right here in the center. So that's the first part of problem 11A. We'll come back here and we will input again 0.025. And we're going to select more than, because we want to look at the right side this time. So here's our right side, and here we see that our critical Z value is 1.96 right here in the center. So we have a critical Z value of negative or plus 1.96. Two-sided test. So plus minus 1.96. Our test is two-sided. Okay, now we come over to problem 11B. Problem 11B, our null hypothesis is that our proportion is 0.4. Our alternative hypothesis is that our proportion is greater than 0.40. And our alpha is 0.05 again. Now this tells us when we look at our alternative hypothesis, when we see that our proportion is greater than, this indicates a one-sided test. A one-sided test. So we do not need to divide our alpha by 2. It's one-sided. So let's go to Stat, Calculator, Normal. We come down here. It is greater than. We click on our drop box, greater than. We come over to here, to the right-hand side and input and we click compute. And we get a critical z-value of 1.64. So we'll just put that in. So it's plus 1.64. We are looking at the right side, the positive side of the normal distribution curve. Let's take a look at problem C. I'll just slide that over a little so you can see the C. Here we are in C. Null hypothesis, our proportion is equal to 0.50. Our alternative hypothesis, our proportion is less than 0.50. Our alpha, or our significance level, is 0.01. They also gave us our sample number of 345. We don't need that to calculate this question. I go to stat, I go to calculators, I go to normal. I make sure that less than is here on the left. I go over to the right and I insert 0.01. I click compute. And here in the center, I get negative 2.33 is our critical z-value. Here, right here in the tail, we're on the left-hand side, we're in the negative side. So I'm going to put that here, right here, negative 2.33. So here I have a one-sided test because I'm looking at less than, and again in problem 11b, I had a one-sided test because I was looking at greater than. So we're just looking at one side of the normal distribution curve. So very easy, and I love having the pictures because I'm really able to visualize the data. That really helps me a lot. So what I do is I cut and paste. I go into options and copy and right click and copy the image, and then I paste it into usually I paste it into an Excel worksheet. So we can take a look. I've already done that. Here we go. So just to recap, you can see that in our problem 11a, our proportion in our alternative hypothesis, our proportion was not equal to, it was that equal sign with a slash through it. So we knew it was a two-sided test. So we looked at the left side, the negative side, we got negative 1.96 critical z-value. Then we looked at the positive side and we got a positive 1.96 for our critical z-value. Then we came over to problem 11b, where our alternative hypothesis was more than, our proportion was more than 0.4. So we were only looking at one side, we looked at the right side, which is the plus side, and our critical z-value is 1.64. Then we went over to problem 11c, which by the way I amended because I wanted to show you how you calculate a one-tail test when it's a lower tail test, when it goes over to the left, the negative side. So we looked at an alternative hypothesis where the proportion was lower than or less than 0.5. We looked at the left-hand side. It was a negative 2.33. Our alpha was 0.01. So our critical z-value was 2.33. Very easy, very fast, and very visual. So I hope this helped. If you have any problems at all, please do not hesitate to contact any of your tutors. We're certainly here to help you.